Continuing, Nicky, Nicoletta. Nicoletta. So I was saying that was a fantastic woman. Maybe she still is 50 something. The Côte d'Azur, Marius character in the previous series, told me they kept in touch, and he wanted to stay there. She had a husband, and then they divorced, and she has a nice house on the coast, Saint-Tropez. What's the relevance? I mean, I'm not going there. I'm not. I for some instance, I thought maybe I Google Nicoletta or something, then Saint-Tropez, whatever, and maybe find what would be the use. So it worked fine, but it had ups and downs. There were some quarrels. There was a serious tension because after a while, being together, kissing, prelude, and nothing happened. And she was a virgin, and nothing was going to happen. That was frustrating. What can we do about this? I remember it was agreed that I would find pleasure, finality, orgasm, whatever we call it if we did elsewhere. And still, what about when we have increased passion, attention between us? Something did happen. I think I will get to that, if not today, sometime. But it was an interesting paradox throughout. I mean, here you have this sexiest of women, and not adopting. I mean, she wasn't jumping all over you. On the contrary, but that's the sexy. She wasn't dressed in nun's clothes and keeping it. On the contrary, the way she talked, she addressed her openness, her attitude, which is saying sex. I want you. Sex. What's that song? Anyway, it was an interesting paradox. And also, it wasn't like Fidelity was the name of the one Nadir took place in summer. In summer, I had some busy days, being assigned some clients on tour or something. And she was on the Black Sea coast with her sister, no other way, with her father. But that just also goes to prove what's the point of being so dictatorial. It has the opposite effect quite often. I don't know, there was some signs that something's wrong. And I remember this quite well. The university was nearby, though geophysics and my mother were like 50 meters apart at some point. And my mother had her job, also next to the American embassy, Tudor Arghezi it was, but now it's far out in the north. And same 50 meters, so everything in a Bermuda Triangle. And we didn't have mobile phones. I didn't have a phone at home for ages. That was a huge problem. Indeed, I was handcuffed at one point because I was kicking this phone which took my last coins. You had to have coins, you didn't have. The coins were hard to find, everything was hard to find in Commie days. A working phone was hard to find. And the last possibility in the Oboe area, I would have to travel 5 kilometers. I don't. It doesn't matter, and still not find one because they don't work and so. So my last communication with somebody was last forever because it was fucking nightmare. And I was kicking this phone. And a couple of policemen went by. No questions asked, a few questions asked. They just handcuffed me to a calorifer heating unit in a block of flats nearby. Not forever, not for 5 days, but for some time. So I went down to my mother. She worked in the basement. She was a typograph. She was at the printing press or something for an institute of architectural plans, some IPCET, something. And I called the Black Sea coast. And the conversation I had with the sister, I think, what is Nicky? She's not here. And I said, okay, I'm going there. And when I went there, she was indeed in a sort of a tender communication with this big fellow with muscles and not much brains, though, fortunately for me, I guess. And all the time she was sending the wrong messages, not just with this fellow, but at one point we also met with I think it was the drummer from the Directia Change, my favorite band here, though we have a different one, which is more just as popular in this land. Somehow it's that way. And such an asshole is one and then the other and then... Okay. So I had to go to save the day, to save my relationship. And maybe we'll finish this tomorrow.